Welcome back, my friends, to TFT Hyper Roll with Autarch, and the first full video and build breakdown of set 11. And since I'm over portals as a concept, I'm going to be cutting that part out of the video and just getting into the meat of it. But we got Spatula, and then we immediately got the Negatron Cloak, which will make the Heavenly emblem, so it's time to roll with Heaven's Angels. Let's take a look at the first set of augments. Now, super important to this build is a gold 3-star Soraka, so that heroic grab bag is already looking good, but I like to check everything out just in case. With no other option, yep, we're going heroic grab bag. Now, the key to this build is going Heavenly and Altruist, as Altruist will add armor and magic resist as well as heal the lowest health ally for 15% of the damage they're doing, which is going to be significant once you get up to a gold 3-star Soraka who's a Heavenly Altruist. And you may or may not have a strong start with this build. Don't worry about it. Once it comes together really well, and I find even when it flounders, you don't end up too far out of the top 4 or in 4th place as it is, but sometimes if you can get the 2 stars early, you'll have a decent start. And we'll be skipping encounters this season as well and jump right into the next set of augments. Jeweled Lotus was tempting, but not perfect. With Pandora's items over there, I know I can craft exactly what I want for Soraka. Then I get a blessed blue buff on top of it, or the blue blessing, and we can put Soraka. Now, I decide here to rush to the 2-star, which let this be a don't do what Autarch does, because when you do that, you pull them out of the champion pool. If I had waited until I just needed 2 and then used it, it wouldn't have mattered if they were all depleted. So the way Soraka works is pretty devastating. She will gain AP as your team loses health. She also mana reaves and does damage to the opposing team, so she's making it harder for them to cast while also destroying them. Neeko is the main tank in this build, and what I should be doing is grabbing that obvious Warmogs on my bench and putting it on Neeko, because you want to make her as tanky as possible. Although Soraka is likely going to carry you, you don't need to make it harder for her. She could have had a stronger front line. Item choice is pretty easy here. Soraka needs 2 things, and that is mana and power. We now have a Rabadon's Death Cap that we can put on Soraka, so she is going to get stronger. Randian's Omen is an excellent item for this build because you can clump your entire front together and then just have Soraka in the back doing damage. Again, should be taking the tank items over there and putting them on Neeko, doing a Bramble's Vest and Dragon's Claw, but yeah, I'm just keep letting them change. And using the duplicator did allow me to stay at the top of the health charts for a while because Soraka was more powerful. I might have gotten to 2 stars by now, I don't know. It still would have been better to have taken the losses and held on to the duplicators if that's what would have happened. This build is pretty strong, so it might have won anyway. And a quick shout out here to Undercover TFT, who saw me in this game and said that they like the channel. Thank you. This is also the point in the build where you're kind of waiting on 2 champions who you're not necessarily going to get very quickly. It's Wukong, who is your last Heavenly, and then Xayah Rakan, who in the Rakan form will be your Altruist. Now, in this case, we end up getting pretty lucky because at the end of the NPC round, we get a Rakan, or Xayah Rakan. Now, what we're going to do is a little bit risky. Luckily, we have an additional Riven on the bench, so we're going to take her out and add Rakan as the additional Heavenly. So that way he's getting the Heavenly bonus, which is Omnivamp, along with the Altruist that he has. I should be putting Riven back in at this point, so I have the 3 Altruists, but yeah, mistakes are made. Luckily, once you have Soraka fully itemized, mistakes don't matter all that much. She's very strong, and so is Rakan, who just knocks people up, and then as you can see, Soraka's finishing them off. And as I mentioned in my 5 builds video, Rakan is AP, so items that help him, AP items, Jeweled Gauntlet, Rabadon's Death Cap, mana items if you want to go that way. Now, this is ultimately sort of the full build minus Wukong, who we are waiting for. Wukong is AD, so we're going to go ahead and buy Infinity Edge, and we'll put it on Kha'Zix so he can use it in-game, but we have a backup Kha'Zix on the bench who we can always switch out for if and when we find Wukong. And keep your eye on Rakan. He is going to have a huge impact immediately. Look how much damage he does when he goes in and stuns people. He can knock entire teams out and very quickly takes over the damage charts even at 1 star. And thanks to winning and not having to re-roll as much early, we were able to roll now and get to our gold 3-star Soraka. And even once you get your gold 3-star Soraka and your 3 Altuists, you are not invincible. There are other comps that can ultimately beat you in places. In the long run, you're likely to win your matches if you've achieved this, but you might have some bumps along the way. And as I mentioned in my 5 builds video, there's lots of different ways to finish this out. In this case, I brought in Tahm Kench and then Lilia, which triggered Mythic. You can go that route. You can also bring in Lee Sin to trigger Dragon Lord. And I'll be doing more videos on this comp in the future to show different ways of getting it done. And we were able to pick up our Wukong in the NPC round, transfer the Infinity Edge over to him, so he's going to be able to be doing a lot of damage as well. We've also got our 2-star Xayah Rakan sitting on the bench, so after this round is over, we're going to have a really strong team. And again, in general, keep your eye on Rakan. When he goes in and does his thing, it just does so much damage and disrupts the other team, which allows Soraka also to land her attacks, and the 3 of them lead the damage charts. And after that match, we are now into the top 4. And you will quickly see at full build, this gets a little intense. The damage is incredible, especially from Soraka, who can take out whole groups of people, and Rakan is keeping them otherwise occupied. We barely lost a player there. And at this level, there's really not much that can take this out. There's just too much damage going out, and Soraka is too protected, and she can just keep putting things down. And winning this one was important for me, and if you know, you know. But we got that, the Ghost team wins, and it's GG for everyone. Hope you enjoyed this video. Look to use this build anytime you get a shot. It really will help you climb fast, and as always, have an absolutely awesome day.